outside. Mitch Reeves looking devastating as he took the line. Remember, if you can hold that, he could be in the lead. No, he won't be, but he'll be in second. It is Sloane Frost from the inside, so Sloane to do it. Then Mighty Mitch to get through. Mitch Reeves from Whakatane on the Honda Rider Insurance. Motul, Tony Reeves Motorcycles, Pacific Toyota, Sign Edge, a Honda, but it's already Sloane Frost. And Sloane, what a rocketing good start that he's made from this one. And as we did with the interview after the last race for Sloane, he was just so exceptional. Remembering racing brought to us by Timaru Metal Recyclers, cash for scrap folk. There is only one way to do it. Remember, it might only be an old bracket or a tin can or even maybe an old muffler off something. Save all your steel. We want to recycle everything, and it's now worth something. You'll be pleasantly surprised. You'll get literally that, cash for your scrap at Red Roost Street there in Timaru for Timaru Metal Recyclers. And Timaru Metal Recyclers, Johnny, of course, a long time in behind him. There we go, Johnny, what do you picked up?
Mitchell Reese into the lead, actually got Sloane over the back there, so it must have been a good move after Sloane got such a fantastic start. So we're in for an exciting one here, 15 laps of exciting superbike racing.
All right, indeed. So Tony's picked that up. His son Mitchell has made the pounce and gone past. So Mitch, the older of the two brothers, with younger brother Damon. Look at the support out there. Damon hanging over the fence, just absolutely cheering, pumping his arms in the air. And he's got mechanic Sam McPherson there holding up the pit board and telling him what's going on as well. So it is the Mitch Reeves advantage at this stage that we're looking to fight for. Oh, look at that beautiful drive out the corner. Man, he knows where to get the power on early. Loving that. But and how's he going to stop that wheeling? It's still pulling a little bit of a wheelie there, Tony.
Yeah, I talked to him after the first race and said you need to stop that wheeling because it's costing you time, which it just did. Then Sloane managed to get the drive straight past Mitch because Mitch was still too busy wheeling the damn thing. So, yeah, need to make that rear brake lever a little bit higher, I think. But that's looking like a really good battle going on here. So I'm sure Mitch is not going to take that, and neither Scotty Moyer. He's right there, and he'll want to make up for the 3 DNFs the poor bugger's had now.
Yeah, indeed. And did you get an opportunity to find out anything between the break as to what happened with Scott?
No, I yelled out to George as he headed off to watch this race, but no, I didn't get what had happened, so no, I wouldn't have a clue there, sorry.
Oh, bad luck indeed.
Mitch having a big moment there coming out of the left-hander. Now he's missed it.
Oh, there we go, and that's exactly what he's doing. He couldn't get it lined up again to go, so he slots back straight in where he was before. So good to know, that's all he's done, is he's gone back through there. You can't get any advantage from using that part of the circuit, but it just gives you that safety buffer. So what do you think might have happened there, Tony?
Yeah, well, Mitch has come out of the left-hander after the hairpin and lost the rear end and spun him out of the seat a little bit, and then he obviously couldn't get it lined up for the next right-hander, so did the right thing and went straight ahead through there and didn't gain anything from it, and so the race carries on, but gave Sloane a bit of an advantage there.
Yeah, it did give him an advantage, and of course also from that point of view it's just given that mental edge to Scott Moyer, the third place rider, because he said, hey, he's not perfect by any matter of means, so we can try and put all the pressure on this. We go back with Ian Dawson here and looking at the battle that's going on. What's Scott Moyer got to do to try and be more consistent? Proved it in the Suzuki Series, Ian.
He did. And, I think with Scotty, he has had that experience. He's got experience, and he has that on and off day kind of thing. He's just got to get more consistent. Speed isn't an issue with him. I mean, he's in third now. I mean, that's never been his issue with him. His Super Motard days and all those days when he was doing it. I think he just needs to settle down. Remember, it's a championship. Remember, just keep finishing, because you're not going to do anything by sitting on the side of the track. Yeah, you just got to keep finishing. And he's capable of, being top 10 finisher all the time, if not a winner. So, hey, I think that's, it's just a bit of thinking.
Thinking to go on, yes indeed it is, but certainly it's all about Sloane Frost, and could be in line here for his 4th win in a row, because it took until the third race, the last race, the Grand Prix at Tarupuna last weekend, before he came into his stride. Hey, before that he just seemed like he was out of sorts, and his Spider updated to us. Wife Lexi rang during the racing last week and said, come on, pull it out, you can do it, you're capable of it. She gave him the encouragement, he went out and he proved it, and he annihilated the field, and he's done it not just once but already twice and maybe 3 times here today. And here's a good example, Tony, of where it's going to be potentially that Scotty and Mitch are going to beat each other up as all that goes on. This man, Sloane Frost, can just rock it away at the front.
Well, that's exactly what's happening now. Scotty's actually all over the back and Mitch actually probably beside him, just about under the hairpin and into the left-hander. So he's looking for a way by him, but it's really quite a tricky track to pass on, and as you'll see, most people do their passing at the end of the back straight here, so you need a little bit of a good drive, a little bit of horsepower advantage coming down here, but yeah, you're right, Neil. They're going to trip over themselves a little bit. They've let Sloane get away, which you don't want to do that with Sloane. He's got too much skill to go giving him an advantage. But hey, that's racing, and anything can happen yet.
All right, he went into this race championship round number 2 with a 1-point advantage from round number 1 over Daniel Meadham and Mitch Reeves type of point. He got the bonus point for qualifying as the fastest rider here yesterday morning, so that gave him a 2-point advantage. He then went and won the next race ahead of Mitch. Daniel Meadham was well back, and then since then, of course, he's gone and won the second one, so he's now gone out to probably 12 or closer to 15 points, the advantage, and he looks like he could even have greater at the end of this one as that battle for the minor money goes on. Chopper Frost right out in front there, but still going for it and looking much better through there, but it's now Tony that Scott's got the advantage over Mitch.
Scotty got much over the back there. He was looking pretty menacing in the last 2 or 3 laps, so I'd say Scotty's going to have a real go now. He's already put a little bit of a gap on Mitch then, so he's going to really try and push to catch Sloane now. And and, hey, there's a little bit of pace left in these bikes. You know, they're not on the lap record pace. It's just, hey, they're super stock bikes. They're not super bikes anymore, and we're still basically running a tyre that was used 2 or 3 years ago. So, you know, like if the boys can get down to that lap record pace, they're doing pretty good on these super stock machines.
Right, the pace is hot at the moment. Right now, Scotty Moyer, as Tony Rees identified, he got a bit of a break and was closing in on Sloane, 0.2 of a second quicker. The gap is 1.7 quick, 1.7 seconds between the two. But remember, we've got pit boards out there. They show you pretty much the time, the lead you've got. But look at Scotty closing in there, Tony Rees. Maybe Sloane didn't get a message that he's coming at him.
Oh, hey, you might get the message. Doesn't mean you can do much about it sometimes. You know, like I said in the earlier race, you know, you start sliding around, moving around, and there's only so much you can do, you know, and sometimes you've got to settle with the pace you're running at, you know, and the harder you push, especially around here where it's a little bit stop-start, you know, like it can only make things worse when you overdo it and you're pushing that tyre too much. So, no, Scotty's actually, yeah, he looks like he's dragging himself back, and definitely Mitch has lost ground there in Hayden Fitzgerald. He's going very well in this race, and he's catching Mitch at this stage.
Half a second in that last lap for Scotty Moyer ahead of Sloane Frost in times. I'm talking about Sloane still leads. A 1.7 second gap down to a 1.2 second gap. We go back 1.5 to Mitch Rees. Then Hayden Fitzgerald a second behind Daniel Meadham. Alistair Hugenboom's coming to grips with his B bike there after the main bike had a failure early on. He's up into 6th place. Jay Lawrence, we can tell you in the last race, Jay Lawrence picked up a couple of bits of steel when it slowed his tyre. So we come into the pits, checked it, and went back out. We had 3 guys come into the pits and went back out there. So Jay Lawrence here in 7th. Jeremy Holmes from Invercargill on the Honda Riders Insurance CBR 1008 spot. Connor London, Dylan Telford there. Dylan's the odd, the black sheep in the family here, simply because he never had any racing last weekend. So he's coming up to speed with the other guys. We've got the battle of the Sam Sharp, Rob Whittle, David Sharp, and Brendan Coe.
Yeah, Scotty Moyer definitely picking up the pace here. You see him closing up all the time, and we're in for a good battle of this, and I'm sure Scotty's not going to let this one go unless he has to, and he's definitely dragging himself back to him, and I'm sure he's going to... He hasn't had a win in this series yet, and he definitely showed how good he was in the Suzuki Series winning that, and he's capable of winning races, so I'm sure he's going to have a go.
All right, so we've proved how good he was for me, an outstanding rider in the Suzuki Series, of course, won the Robert Holden as well, but also from the point of view of what he did at the opening round at Taupo on his home track, whereby there was a crash in the first attempt to run the second superbike race of the day. In fact, then he had to go and get a borrowed bike because there was a problem with his own bike, and in the restart of the race, he then went out and won the race on a bike that he'd never raced before. That was incredible. So we knew his pedigree, and we know what he's been doing over the last few years, but just hasn't got the consistency. 3 DNFs, they're critical points. That's a chance of 75 points have just vanished. So here he is now with his opportunity to catch up to his Suzuki teammate out there and putting all the pressure on there to slow at this stage. So keen to watch out in our update. He's the fastest man on the racetrack as well. As we look out for those time deficits, believe it or not, they are not much. They're not much at all. We're only talking about 1/10 of 1 second, but it's still close and exciting all the same as the bike battle goes on. As they head down the Alpine Energy straight at the stage, heading into John Jones. It's Sloane Frost, but the fight back coming from Scott Moyer. Tony, an opportunity to look out for what Tony's doing. Is he doing the right thing? First of all, he's got to get onto his tail. Where on the track is somebody like Scott Moyer going to overtake Sloane Frost?
Well, yeah, the guy knows what he's doing around here. So Sloane is going to be very hard to pass. And looking at what they're doing down the back straight there, you know, he's not getting a lot of gains from that. But Scotty's really closing up on the brakes. But it is easier to close up on brakes because you can see where the other guy's gone for the brakes and just go a little bit later. I see Hayden Fitzgerald really pushing Mitch Rees into the hairpin then. And so they close up, but then you've still got to do something about it. So look how close they are now. Scotty's right on the back and he's really going to have a go this time. And I'm sure, like I said earlier, he's definitely going to want to get a win under his belt.
Suzuki, Honda and Yamaha as we go for the glory at the moment. Looks to be Dan Meadham feeling his own, the 5th place man on the Coleman Suzuki out of K Road in Auckland, pushing the advantage. 3 Suzuki's in the top 5 with 1 Honda and 1 Yamaha. Back to fellow Suzuki, Jay Lawrence there on the TSS Red Baron Suzuki. So that, in fact, there's 4 Suzuki's in our top 6 going to BMW's Alistair Hugenbusen, from Honda's Jeremy Holmes, and great news, of course, 4 Aprilias, the new RSV4 as well. So 4 Aprilias in New Zealand Superbike road racing. Tell you what, if you could see as many as that by proportion in other Superbike championships around the world, how good would that Aprilia be noted. So nice to see that the guys have chosen this weapon for a number of reasons. A, it's a world-class Superbike. The other thing, of course, these guys can do bears racing.
Oh, Scotty Moyer's down at the hairpin. And that's a bit tough. So that's handed the lead to Sloane Frost. This happened a wee while ago in the last race when he run out with mechanical problems. Looks like Scotty's getting up. That's important. So it's back to second and third. Mitchell Rees and Hayden Fitzgerald, supported by other people, Kevin Grant, and it's great to see Hayden back here. He got second in the New Zealand GP Superbikes about 5 years ago. Had a season off. Come back here, and he's a son of the legend Terry Fitzgerald, who is in the top 5 winners all time at the Cemetery Circuit. Tony Rees is second in that list there. But also he's got his wife Lisa and his mother Jenny and son Liam watching at home. So right now he's going to get a podium here if they stays on. But Scotty Moyer picking up his bike and getting back there and riding back. So that's the action out the front now. I don't know whether Sloane Frost will know about that there, Tony Rees. What does that do to your confidence or your head when you know you've got to keep on going? You think there's someone behind you, but they're not there.
Scotty was pushing pretty hard on the brakes, as we could see, you know, like as I said in the lap before, you know, you could see he was closing up there, so he'd be pushing him. You know, that tire will only take so much, so hey, he's going to give it to Scotty, he's going to go, you know, and it hasn't paid off, but just breaking off laps now and watching his
Hayden Fitzgerald in third place, a 1:04.9 and 1:05.1. This is the last lap for Mitch Rees. The battle is on round that Castrol corner. The red Honda is in second place in the front of Hayden Fitzgerald on the 52 machine. Who's going to get the better drive out there? Mitchell Rees seems to open up, but that Yamaha just seems to be that faster and closing him in down that straight. It's into the John Jones steel corner. Hayden Fitzgerald goes up on the inside. Mitch comes back at him, but not quite enough. There's about, oh, I can't even see it. Is it? So, okay. And second, of course, and young Mitchell, you're his dad, of course, been around him for 24 years and a little bit, and 24 years and 9 months. What's his nickname at home? Has he got any nicknames, or are they not available to say over the public's PA?
Track's a lot warmer this time. Maybe that's suiting what Hayden's done with his setup and what tyre he's running.
Let's go right through the field. We've got 3 laps to go. It is Sloane Frost on the TSS Red Baron Derby Capital Partners Fujitsu sponsor machine. Mitch Rees there on the Honda Ride Insurance machine. Hayden Fitzgerald on the Yamaha New Zealand machine. The Blue Crew bike. Daniel Meadham in 4th place. Jay Lawrence there in 5th on another TSS Red Baron Carl Cox sponsor machine. Alistair Hugenbusen there in 6th place. Jeremy Holmes. Then we go to Dylan Telford on the number 20 bike. Absolutely pretty much stock bike. Supplied by Carl Cox Motorsport Legends boys and team. Sam Sharp, Rob Whittle, David Sharp, and that is the entire people. Brendan Cote unfortunately is out as well. Didn't know whether he got a DNS or DNF. Oh, that battle's coming on through the bus stop for second and third. 2-3 bike leads. Mitch is just a little bit quicker through that corner as we go to the split there. 1:05.334, 200ths of a second back to 1:05.357 for Hayden Fitzgerald.
Yeah, he looked much better that time. Certainly an opportunity to get an idea of it. And the other thing is, it wasn't getting the front wheel to go in the air, so he's been able to keep that on the ground. So as much as we love the wheelie, and it looks spectacular, of course, when you've got a wheel in the air, you aren't racing, you're only riding. So there's the fight back coming from him, and he's had the wake-up call, of course, because the Flying 52 of Hayden Fitzgerald, Mr. Nice Guy from Taranaki, has got the advantage, or had the advantage on him, and now Mitch has got it back in. But I'm loving the battle as well going on there in the next one. Yes, indeed, Timaru Metal Recyclers, cash for scrap at Red Roost Street here in Timaru, proudly great sponsors of this racing. So there we go, and the white flag has gone out, white flag to go. So Sloan, Mitch, Hayden, Daniel and Jay, and look at that Daniel and Jay battle as well. Don't look out for that one too much. And here we go now, so keen to look out for that battle as well. So if you thought it was close enough between 2 and 3, what about the 4 and 5 battle going on as well? So that is some great racing as we check it out. Here we go, here we are for the last time, and look at that, the wheelie goes on again. That's what he's having trouble with. Doesn't want to pull a wheelie, but it's just the way the power is going as he fights it out, and then takes a drive up to the top corner. Then look at the next battle, see how close they've got as well. Daniel met him, and look at that from Jay Lawrence. Jay Lawrence hauling it in there as he gets up to the top of the straight. So super close and super tight and super exciting. How do we go there between Jay and Daniel? We know how good Jay is on the streets. This is one of his better track events that we've seen, Tony.
Oh, for sure. This place, like I said earlier, is a little bit stop-go, and so it's a little bit like a street race, so it is a little bit harder to pass. You've got to be really good on the brakes. And now we look at Hayden Fitzgerald really having to go at Mitch Reese. Sloane's coming through for the win here. What a fantastic ride. Very smooth. Never put a foot wrong, and did everything right to take that.
There he goes across the finish line. Checkered flag for Sloane Frost, and here we are. Yes, indeed, Mitch Rose to do it. Mitch Reese, yes, ahead of then Hayden. Here's that next battle, and look at that for Daniel Medham. There's the Suzuki's coming home for the glory, and it's the Suzuki of Daniel Medham that takes that fourth place ahead of fellow Suzuki rider in Jay Lawrence. Exceptional from those young guns as well. Unfortunately, we lost Scott Moyer in here. I must say to the crowd, thank you very much for those that cheered and applauded when we saw Scott bring his bike back. I saw people on their feet and cheering. Thank you for your sportsmanship. That was fantastic. Hey, I want to do a shout out as well out there, of course, for